So, Sergio Perez has been axed from the Red Bull Racing team. He won't be staying on as even an RB driver, as that position has already been filled by Isaac Hadjar, the Formula 2 runner-up. But apparently, that reserve driver role at Ferrari might be a potential option to keep his foot in the door. Now, of course, Perez right now will want to rest and relax, but that position as reserve driver at Ferrari is open. Ollie Behrman had it before, but of course, he's going to have to be there, one of their full-time drivers. The likes of Robert Schwartzman as well. He's going to IndyCar with Prema, I believe it is. And that leaves Arthur Leclerc, who is okay. You know, he's really not his brother at all. He's miles off a Charles. He's not the ideal reserve driver that Ferrari would want. So, why not get Perez? And it makes sense. It makes sense because, of course, Perez used to be part of the Ferrari Development Academy. That's how he got his seat at Sauber in 2011 when he got his debut. Now, there is some competition for this seat, of course, as you would expect. Zhou Guanyu, another former Ferrari development driver, as well, is in the running for that seat. So let's have a look at this, guys. This is an interesting rumour because, as well, on top of this, it's not just about, you know, keeping your foot in the door for potentially a race seat in 2026, but it's just staying in and around there, staying relevant, for lack of a better term, because of course Cadillac come into the sport in 26, and I reckon that it's going to be between Perez and Bottas for who gets that seat. Bottas already has the reserve seat at Mercedes. He'll be in and around F1, keeping fresh. Perez, as it stands, is going to have a year on the sidelines. He's going to have a sabbatical. But will that change? Let's have a look at this, guys. So, Sergio Perez's next move in motorsport could already be imminent, sources have told the authoritative Spanish sports newspaper. With the Mexican driver and Red Bull agreeing to end his 2025 contract, Perez is said to be pocketing around $16 million US, reportedly the cost of his agreed retainer. His father, Antonio Perez Garibay, says that Perez is definitely closing the F1 and Premier Motorsport door for now. I am sure that the door for F1 is not closed to Checo if something very good and big comes along, he told Mexican broadcaster N+Foro. I don't think that Checo will go to a team like Sauber or Haas. Checo will either sign a contract with a big team or the door is closed. No IndyCar, no ASCAR, no NASCAR, no Le Mans. I am 100% sure of that. That is why I'm telling you that if there is no big team, then Checo has already done his last race. Everything in life is a beginning and an end, and you have to learn to live with it. For the moment, what Checo has to do is concentrate on enjoying his family, because it was many years, many sacrifices, and that had to end one day, and that day is today, Perez Sr. added. However, Marca Sports newspaper cited sources close to Perez as revealing that the Mexican has actually been negotiating for several weeks with a top-level World Endurance Championship team. The report says that Perez's apparent plan is to select key WEC racers, including Le Mans. Perez has no intention from retiring from motorsport, not even in the top category, explained correspondent Marco Canseco. According to what we have found out, the Mexican driver is in very advanced negotiations to become a WEC driver with one of the best teams in the top hypercar category. He is finalising an agreement with Ferrari and thus returning to his origins, as he was in the Ferrari Academy before arriving in F1 with Sauber, which is true. And yes, so Ferrari does have a hypercar program. That's what used to be LMP1. For those who haven't followed World Endurance Championship racing too closely, Ferrari, of course, won Le Mans, the 24-hour Le Mans this season, so they're a winning team. So perhaps not being the development driver, although it makes sense for him to be that. I mean, you'd much rather have him than Arthur Leclerc, and maybe just Arthur Leclerc for, you know, subbing in for the weekends when Perez is off racing in WEC. For what it's worth, I don't see it personally. I think that Perez is going to have a full-on sabbatical. He would have been under immense pressure, and he has shown as much as well. Just go back to Mexico or wherever they live, relax, spend some time with the kids, then decide. If he's still got the itch to scratch, then I can see him come back to motorsport. If he's still got the F1 itch to scratch, I can see him come back to Formula 1. And I think, to be honest, he'd only come back if either, like his father says, it is a top team, or, because I don't think he's going to get a top drive, he's not going to get into a McLaren, a Mercedes, a Red Bull, a Ferrari. No chance. No chance. I think he'll probably come back with Cadillac, like I keep saying. You know, I feel like that makes sense because it's starting a team from scratch, and he has immense experience, does Perez, of being in a top team. winning winning 2 constructors championships actually, and helping a driver, his teammate, win 3. Well, 4 technically. I mean, this season he wasn't really there, was he? But 4 technically drivers' championships in a row. So it makes sense for both parties. But it's all if, if he sits at home for 3-4 months and thinks, you know what, I'm done with this. I want to go back to racing. Then he'll come back. But if he thinks after that amount of time, he's like, you know what, I want to stay here. I kind of like this family life. Then he'll do that. It's all about what he wants, and we can't get inside his head, and I don't think he even knows right now. He won't know the answer to that question right now. But guys, what do you think? Do you think Perez is going to be back in F1? And if he is going to be back in F1, for which team? Also, what do you reckon to those Ferrari rumours? Is he going to be in the WEC one day? I'd like to see it. I can't see it personally, but I could easily be wrong on that one. Wouldn't be the first time, definitely won't be the last. Like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell as well, guys, and we'll see you soon. Have a good one.